Welcome to Sanctuary's fan panel where we talk about superheroes, comic books, films, and anything to do with the superhero and sci-fi genre. Welcome, Steve, Hayden, and I'm Phil. So I just wanted to recap with last week. So it started off with Hayden and I, and Steve was unable to be with us, but the man, the legend, the myth himself is with us today. Before I get started, I just wanted to ask how everyone's going. So, Steve, how's your week going?
It's going all right.
Yeah?
It's a bit strange. My wife's ill, so it's a little bit of a miss, but all good.
Oh, that's awesome. Hayden, how are you going and how was your week?
I'm going pretty good. It's Friday, so that's always good. I haven't gotten any like fights with space ninjas yet, but here's hoping for the weekend. You know what I mean? But yeah, just chilling. And yeah, we were in fall for a little bit where I live, so it was like 60 degrees, and all of a sudden decided I want to be 90 degrees again. So I'm sweating like crazy. But other than that, I'm doing great. How you doing, Phil?
Well, yeah, going good. My week has been good. I think I did mention before, I'm actually wearing broken headphones. I was actually going for a run with my headphones, and what happened? As I was running, listening to some good music, feeling like, hey, I'm having a good workout. I had this bird just swoop me, smash my headphones off my head. And then I was so freaked out. I'm like, what happened? And then I just saw a bird just fly over me. So I just kept running and screaming until I got home, and my wife just laughed at me. So, no, that's
Like
how
a
my week's
bird,
going.
like a bird, like swooped in.
Swooped in, smashed my headphones off, and then I ran home screaming like a little girl. And then no shame. And then got home, and I had my wife just laugh at me.
Wow, what a what a rough chain of events, dude. Man, if you ever find that bird, you're gonna have vengeance on it. Be like Liam Neeson with a bird. No, okay.
So I just picture me picking up a bird, going, "Where is my headphones? Give it to me now."
I will find you,
Um,
and I will kill you.
anyway, getting back on the topic. So we wanted to. So we interrogated Hayden and myself last week. That sounds horrible, but Steve, we have some questions to ask you, so people can get to know you through this podcast. And so, so the questions I want to ask you is, how long have you been a part of Sanctuary, and who is your favorite superhero, and why they inspired you?
How long have I been part of Sanctuary? Yeah, I don't know. About 18 to 19 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's gotta be 18 to 19 years, somewhere around there.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and my favorite superhero is well, there's two, because they've got to be awkward. There's Conan the Barbarian and the Silver Surfer.
Conan the Barbarian, oh, so classic, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm an old dude. As you said earlier, and,
Yeah.
he was suitably aged, so I really like Conan the Barbarian. And I've got some of the original comics and some of the D&L posters by Boris Palacio. So that's cool. And the Silver Surfer, just because he's creepy and weird, and I like creepy and weird.
And you probably love silver too, so that's why.
Yeah, I've got to say.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Not the gold person's mate.
That's cool, man. So So I have another question. So do you have a favorite superhero film?
Ooh.
Um, yeah, it's Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
Oh, nice.
If anybody's ever heard of that film,
To be quite honest with you, I actually put on the straightest, nicest face, going, "Oh, that's cool, yeah." In my head. What's this? But that's definitely on my to-do list of one of the first things I have to do today. Wow, no, that's
well,
pretty cool, man. So, man, that's cool. That'll be the first thing on my list to do. So, um,
that, that
so
was probably out before both of you were born. So,
that was one of the three things popped into my head when you mentioned. That sounds cool. Keep a straight face, and that probably came out before I was born.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. So sweet man. So you mentioned that you collect you collected a few of the Conan the Barbarian comics and all that. I also heard that you own a memorabilia shop.
yeah, yeah. I've owned it
Wow.
for about 17 years now.
Wow.
Oh, that's incredible. So you have like all memorabilia like from Batman and from all the superheroes I can imagine. Or
Yeah, yeah. We've got it goes right the way across the gamut of
yeah.
mem from music to comics to
Wow.
um, action figures, all sorts of artwork. Um, but the best things come home. So I've got Stanley's autograph here. I've got Bob Kane's autograph here. Um,
Wow.
Lots of others. So
Dang.
I'm
That's incredible. Man, that's actually really cool, man. Like I've been to a few memorabilia shops and you find the most interesting people go in there. Like sometimes I'll pick up a comic book and then I'll have this guy breathing over my shoulder going, I like that part. And you're like, hi,
Oh,
do
that's
I know
me.
you?
No.
yeah.
So have you ever had any strange customers like out of the ordinary? Like you going, are they from this planet?
Um, yeah, I get them regularly. I get them once a year every week. I was telling Hayden about a couple of brothers that
Yeah.
came in, and they used to come in quite regularly. And the one brother would write this question down and hand it to me, and
Yeah.
I'd read it and what have you. And and I thought that he was mute. I didn't think he spoke. And
Yeah.
I asked his brother once, what's he written here? And his brother couldn't read it. We asked him, and he told his brother the answer, but he wouldn't talk to me, which I found very, very weird. And we actually had we've had a number of people do signings in the shop, and Warwick Davis from Star Wars and various other things was in the shop, and he said to me afterwards, I've signed autographs all over the world, but you have the strangest customers I've ever met.
That must be one of the best compliments you've ever had to
Yep,
get.
yep. Well, it was really strange, but we had one guy who went to the signing. He got his stuff signed, and he just stood in the room, and I ended up asking him, could he move for us to get other people in? So he just moved to one side and stood there watching Warwick for an hour, signing other people's autographs.
Uh, that guy must have been committed, or would have been. No, I don't know.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah,
I think at the shop, it sounds like you put up with more difficult, strange people than what I do because what I work at a supermarket at the moment, and all I get is just a lot of old women trying to hit on me, saying that I look
Oh
beautiful.
no!
Yeah, you're probably talking about women my age. So let's
No, older. I'm talking about walking frame and walking stick age.
Oh
no,
no!
I'm not into walking stick.
No, but I'm just saying, like, memorabilia shops, when I go in, you just find the most strangest people. Like, even at autograph signings, I just saying, like, these people are just so obsessed with these people, like these celebrities that will come in for signings. I remember I went to this memorabilia shop, and they had one of the MMA fighters that came in because they sell some of the wrestling toys. This guy lined up and he refused to move. He goes, Ken Shamrock or something. Oh, thank you for all everything you've done, and the guy's like, oh, thank you. Great to meet you. Here's your autograph, and he just kept going and going, and then the guy's just got, thank you, thank you. But the guy just got off a plane, and sometimes it's very hard for them to just keep calm. But I think the security actually, I think, had to drag the guy out. He's like, no, no.
Dang!
Yeah, but anyway, so it's pretty funny. But anyway, on the next question, so you mentioned that you collect comic books. So what would your favorite comic book or comic book series that you love? So what would your favorite comic book series be?
Probably the Savage Sword of Conan, which
Yes.
was out when I was
Nice.
about 12. No, probably earlier than that.
So when you say 12, you're basically saying before we were born. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so I can really give you into my age.
Dang.
Wow, no, that's really cool, man. No, that's amazing. Man, I think I ended all the questions off, so I think we know you really well. I was suggesting we should come up with our own nicknames in this. Like I did mention it before the video started. You should be Steve the Wives. Like, I don't know. It just reminded me of like Gandalf the White or something. So you should
There
be
you go.
Steve the Wise. Hayden, because you are the youngest, you're like a flower that is going to bloom very soon. So I said Padawan, so maybe we should stick with Padawan, and I
I'm
don't know
down with
what I
that.
am. You guys can think of one for me, so we should just be.
Oh. Well, okay. Well, we're mixing universes here, so we gotta we gotta figure this out because we got Lord of the Rings on one part, we got Star Wars on another part. So what's another universe that we can pull from right here?
There's got a Marvel universe in it.
Man. Oh well. Let's see. Do you have any ideas to name yourself, Phil? Because earlier you said The Apprentice. That's what you said, but I feel like The Apprentice is too close to Padawan. Maybe you could
Okay,
be.
well,
I don't know.
it makes sense. So, Steve the Wise, I'm the apprentice, and you're the Padawan. So, and because Steve is a lot older than us, because we're way out of his time, Steve is the one that he's more mature, older. So I would assume that he keeps us in line. So I think the apprentice really works out well.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
I'd have a hard job keeping you guys in line.
Yeah. Like I think next time we have a chat, Steve has just got to hold a wooden spoon, and we're just gonna be like, yeah.
Like,
So anyway, I'll get back to the question. So I was gonna say, have you guys watched the recent Star Wars films? I when I watched them, I wasn't quite a big fan of the whole new trilogy. I just felt it was quite off, weird, and
terrible.
just didn't really feel like stuff. Thank you. So I'll hit. I just want to throw it off to Steve. Have you seen the latest Star Wars films?
I've seen all but the last one, and I didn't catch the last one in the cinema, and I haven't overly been bothered about watching it. I keep saying I'm going to watch it with my youngest one, but every time I offer it to him, he's like, nah. So I haven't bothered. And
I think he's doing you a favor.
that's sort of how I feel about them. I've watched Solo and the others, and I thought Solo was quite good.
Yeah.
I'm they, they I hesitate to be cliche here, but they're just not as good as the first three. So
Yeah, it's just quite, man, just went way off. But Hayden, how did you feel about the whole new Star Wars films? Like, I know we spoke about this before when we actually first met. So how do you feel about them?
So the way I feel when I saw The Force Awakens, I was actually really hopeful and I was really excited because I really liked The Force Awakens. And then The Last Jedi came out, and like that movie gets a lot of hate. So like adding to it, there's no purpose to it. But obviously, there's major issues. It just didn't feel like a Star Wars movie, and there was like just didn't feel like Star Wars. And then when the third one came out, it felt more like a Star Wars movie, but you could tell that they didn't plan out what they were going to do, and they just were like, "Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll just, we'll figure it out." It's like trying to drive a car, like it's trying to build a car while driving it at the same time. It doesn't work. So it's like, but I will say, going back to Solo though, I love all of the offshoot Star Wars, so like Solo, Rogue One, and like obviously Mandalorian and all that. I think those are amazing. It's the other stuff that's like the actual Star Wars stuff. It just doesn't feel like Star Wars, and part of me is like, I don't know if we should even consider it a part of the Star Wars, or if it's its own thing. It's hard because it's like, I mean, I will say Kylo Ren. I love Kylo Ren. I think like Adam Driver as Kylo Ren is amazing in his performance, and I think for the most part the acting from all of them is great, and I think Kylo Ren's a great character. I just think what they did with everyone just did not work.
I totally agree. Like, when it came to the films, I have to admit the Force Awakens was quite entertaining, but it was just a rewashed up Star Wars movie. There was nothing original about it, and like I felt that they controlled Kylo Ren really well. They built up all these characters, and it was just some things were quite rushed. And I could sense that what J.J. Abrams done was just basically rewashed A New Hope, and with a little bit of his own vision to it. And I was like, okay, this is cool, but I wanted to expect something new at the same time with a bit of a Star Wars feel to it. And after they released the Last Jedi, I was just so disappointed. And when I did a little bit of research, even Mark Hamill said to the director, "Don't call me Luke Skywalker, call me Mark Skywalker." He goes, "Why?" He goes, "Luke Skywalker wouldn't do this," kind of thing. And
Yeah.
so he wasn't quite happy about it. And when there was so much backlash with the film, he actually had to go, "Oh, look, just respect the director, etc., etc." But behind the scenes, they actually, when they bought Lucasfilm off George Lucas Disney, they actually brought in Kathleen Kennedy. She's in charge of the whole film franchise, and so when they made these films, it was all about not making a good film. They just wanted to make as much money as possible because they spent nearly $1 billion to buy this franchise. So they wanted to make a profit back. Obviously, they well and truly made a profit, but it just seemed that they didn't want to make a good film. They didn't want to take their time. They didn't want to create like an art piece, and it just seemed quite rushed. And it was well said with what you mentioned. It's like they're building a car and trying to drive it at the same time. I felt the trilogy was a big letdown. I don't even consider it to be a part of the universe. Even George Lucas didn't even bother to show up on the red carpet for the last one. Like, he was quite upset and disappointed. Yeah, and so I think I have to agree with you. You got the Mandalorian that smashed it out of the park. You got Solo. Solo actually didn't do too well in the box office. They considered it a flop, but I felt Ron Howard directed that film really well. He was under a lot of pressure from the Disney CEO and Kathleen Kennedy, and it just seemed they were just too heavily controlling their directors. But the best film out of them all, in my opinion, was Rogue One. Rogue One
Yes.
actually had a beautiful touch to Star Wars. But before, an interesting fact is that before they started making the film, the director that did Rogue One actually met up with the original screenwriters and also George Lucas, and he sat down and said, "This is what I want to do, but the reason why I want to come here to see you is so I want this to be a right feel of Star Wars." And so you probably noticed in the film the romance was on a little bit up and down, like it was a right flow, and the whole movie was literally about the setup of the original, and literally it was a standing ovation for Rogue One. I felt that was just the right tone, the right way to set it off for A New Hope. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I think about it. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
oh, sorry, you go, Steve. My bad.
what I was going to say was, with Solo being a flop at the box office, they were they were touting it as a flop before it had even come out.
Yeah,
They were running it down. Uh, their own studio was running it down before it even came out. So it was no wonder it was a box office flop. They didn't do the promotion properly for it. They didn't um, half the
yeah,
posters and things didn't in them out properly, and it was no wonder that it was a flop. But I think they did that to try and downplay Solo so that they could upplay the last Star Wars film, because I
I
think
agree.
if they'd done them both on the same level, Solo would have smashed it out of the park compared to the last Star Wars film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree. And it was sad because I think they had up to three directors that were doing the film, and all of them left because they felt they couldn't have a little bit of creative control. And when Ron Howard came in, it seemed that he's a big Star Wars fan, and he wanted to grab hold and create a great movie. And it just seemed I felt sorry for him because at the end he of the movie, he wrote on his Twitter apologizing to all Star Wars fans, and I just felt bad because when I watched the movie, it was a great film, and as I think I read up about that, Steve, where um, the promotions were actually delayed.
Yeah,
You got the promotion, I think 2 weeks before the film came out, all the promotions started coming out, all the ads. And I remember all
yeah,
the fans were like, where did this come from? Like, we knew the movie's coming out, but this soon, kind of thing. And so normally when people want to see a film, they like to have that time to prepare to go, oh, I'm so excited, and that reminder. But it was literally just only once or twice that they just uploaded only trailers and just promotional photos on social media. It wasn't anything big. You never saw like, a bus drive past with the poster on the back of the bus, or even like park benches with the advertisement. There was nothing at all. And it seemed that they didn't really care about the film. And that's one thing that I always respected about George Lucas and the original Star Wars, is that before they made the films, they wanted to take their time because it's like an artwork. It's like a painting. You can't just rush through it because it's just going to look disgusting. And I think Disney really put so much trust in Ron Howard. I felt Ron Howard smashed it out of the park. He did a great job in such
I agree.
little time. But it just seemed that they just didn't respect the film and give the respect that it deserves.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
and it also had a lot of negative press because of like people thought that it was gonna have like political stuff in it. I know that was a huge thing going in, as a lot of people were saying that it was gonna be a super political movie. So a whole bunch of people decided that they weren't gonna see it because of that. And then when you actually watch the movie, it's like, no, this is a great movie, but people won't give it a chance because like once like that allegation is thrown out there, like nobody wants to watch a movie where you get preached at. So obviously if you say that about a movie, no one's going to watch it. And it got, I know like the other thing too, there's rumors that I don't know how to pronounce the guy who played Solo's name. It's like Aldenreich, or I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he apparently Kathleen Kennedy came in like a quarter of the way through the movie and saw his acting, and then demanded that he get acting lessons because she said he wasn't good enough. And so like so like he had to get like acting training like halfway through the movie or something like that. And so it had all, but and the problem is they were announcing all of this as it was happening, like people were leaking it. So of course, when you hear this stuff and you're already like disappointed by the other Star Wars movies, and you hear all this stuff, you're like, yeah, it's going to be terrible. And then you watch it, and I think it's better than any of the new trilogy movies. Just being completely honest.
Totally agree. I think it was a great build up to the film. Spoiler alert. Like when they showed Darth Maul at the end of the film, I had goosebumps. Even the way that they controlled Han and Lando together, like when they first saw each other, they did that kind of thing. And when you actually watch Empire Strikes Back, that's what they actually did, kind of thing. And it created that relationship really well. But yeah, it was just utter failure by Lucasfilm and Disney to not actually push the film. And, from what I actually saw Ron Howard in the interview, Ron Howard just kept going on that he loves and respects the franchise so much. But he was careful with his words. I felt that he just said, like, it seems that the actual company doesn't really care and show the respect to the franchise, what it truly deserves. Because it's the thing is, they're building theme parks, they're only rushing movies. It's just a money cash grab for them. But I feel that, they need to take their time when it comes to Star Wars. They can't be rushing so many Star Wars movies out. It is something that they have to release here and there, because it is such a beautiful film when you watch a Star Wars movie. Even the old films, you start to look at it and you will appreciate it, because that they took their time to create such a fantastic universe. But anyway, I wanted to ask another film that's actually coming out, Ghostbusters. So Steve, have you seen any of the original Ghostbusters movies? I see that smile on your face.
I've actually got Ghostbusters memorabilia in my house.
Oh,
mate, how good.
On the wall.
well, we get to see it. We get to see it, Phil.
Oh, my heart's racing. Oh, Stay Puff.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So there we are.
So that's Peter Venkman with Slimer.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So, so you love the first films, obviously, from what I could see.
Yeah. I think the first films are masterpieces. I think they've got everything that you want in a film. I enjoyed the female Ghostbusters, but it wasn't a Ghostbusters film for me. It was okay, but it just wasn't a Ghostbusters film for me.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Yeah. So, but did you hear that they're actually making a third Ghostbusters movie based after part 2? It's actually not Ivan Reitman, the original director. It's actually his son, Jason Reitman. I think that's his name. Yeah. Doing it, and it's actually going to have Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson, and Dan Aykroyd. But obviously, Harold Ramis, who's unfortunately passed away, it's based about his family, his daughter and grandchildren. And so, yeah, did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did. I'm really excited about that, and I've actually just managed to purchase a Bill Murray autograph off of me. So
wow.
Oh, wow.
It may be going into a shop, or it may come into my collection, but don't let my wife hear that.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. I think you're a bigger Ghostbuster fan than I am. Because I was born later, obviously.
Just keep drilling it.
So anyway, I'll pass you on to Hayden. So I know that before the video started, I mentioned that we were going to talk about Ghostbusters. Ha, have you seen Ghostbusters?
So yeah, so we were talking. I've seen the very first one. I have two experiences with it. One is good and one is not so good. So like I rewatched it when I was like 2 years ago, and I was like, oh okay, this is pretty cool. But a long time ago, my dad tried to show it to me when I was like, I don't know, like 4, I think. And I remember it was the scene where you see the ghost show up and like it does that like weird thing and it like its eyeballs stick out and it like the tongue and it's like whatever's happening. And I was like frightened to death. I was like, what the heck? And I started freaking out. So my dad was like, okay, no problem. We'll just watch a different movie instead. So he turned on RoboCop. So then I watched RoboCop and just basically watched a guy get obliterated. It was a very traumatic day. No, but I like it. I haven't seen the second one. I always because I always had that memory with it. I was always terrified to watch it, even though it's not a scary movie like at all. But I was always terrified to watch it. But
Well,
I love the cast. I love Bill Murray. I mean, Bill Murray's the man. You know, you got like all those movies that he did in the 70s and 80s, and I mean everything. But yeah, yeah.
so good, man. When you mentioned the part of the ghost and the eyes popping out, you said, oh, I was so scared. I just want to remind you, just wait until you get married, man.
Oh no. Oh man.
I hope my wife didn't hear that. Honey, if you're going to watch this, I love you very much. Anyway.
This is the last day we saw Phil alive.
Yeah.
So I love Ghostbusters. You know, when I first watched it, I just fell in love with it. The way that the film was, it was just so entertaining. I love Slimer. He's just so funny. Just the way they brought him in and how you know, Bill Murray as Peter Venkman as he got slimed. He's just like, oh man, it was so funny. It was well done. Part 1 and part 2 were just so entertaining. I did hear that Ivan Reitman tried to make a third one, but there was quite a lot of issues going on behind the scenes with Bill Murray and Harold Ramis because they had a bit of a falling out. But actually, Harold Ramis was really unwell, and he actually died not long ago. Not long after they made the script and they wanted to go ahead with it, and it was pretty sad. So Bill Murray actually and Dan Aykroyd said, look, if we wanted to do a film, it would be quite difficult. I think Dan Aykroyd wanted to do a third film, wanted to go ahead with it, but Bill Murray said, who wants to watch a bunch of old guys catch ghosts? So it was pretty up to see a third film, but you'd understand as Harold Ramis did pass away. As you know, we all know the 2016 female film. I actually did enjoy it until I had to turn it off because there was a scene where they killed off Bill Murray. Yeah, I just felt the movie was somewhat entertaining, but it didn't really capture my attention with the story. The story I kind of felt wasn't really the same. It was just like a Ghostbusters film, to be honest with you. It was just something to, you know, bring the franchise back to life, but I felt it wasn't the way to approach it. You know, I felt the female leads were great. They were entertaining, but I felt the story wasn't really the right fit for Ghostbusters. So as I mentioned to both of you guys, the third film to the original coming out with Jason Reitman, Ivan Reitman's son. I am so excited. When I read up about it, it's going to be Egon Spangler's daughter that's coming in with her kids, and she inherits this barn from her father, and the kids find the original Ghostbusters costumes and the car. I was like, okay, this is going to have such a beautiful feel to it, but it's like passing the torch in a good way. So I've been hearing rumors that, you know, the Ghostbusters, you got Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray and Ernie Hudson, Ernie Hudson played Winston, Bill Murray played Peter Venkman, and Dan Aykroyd played Ray. So those guys got trapped in a ghost dimension. and it was Egon Spangler that actually was left, and he couldn't rescue them. So it seems like he's passed on, had a family, and now these kids have found the costumes, and now a ghost was released. And I think this might be, we might see the original three guys come back. And, I heard there's a few more cast members from the original that might be coming back.
Dang.
But man, I'm just so excited. I even heard, what's his name? The guy with the glasses who played in Honey Who Shrunk the Kids. He was
Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis. Something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rick Moranis. He didn't want to return, but he's actually returning back to film now, and I wish he would have played in this movie. He would have been so cool, just so nerdy, so waggy. But overall, I'm excited for the new Ghostbusters. I love it. Obviously, Steve's been around, so he's bigger fan than what we are. So,
Indeed.
Yeah, indeed.
Just a quick time check. We're at about like 34 minutes. So, just let you know.
34 minutes. Oh, thank you. So we might actually wrap it up here. So Steve, thank you so much for coming on. Hayden, thank you so much. So before we end it off, we just want to say thank you for watching. If you guys have any questions, any of the people that follow the Sanctuary International Matrix page, please comment any questions below, and we would love to answer some questions on the next video. And hey, thank you for watching Sanctuary fan panel, and it's been great for you guys to tune in and hear us talk about the things that you also may love. Thank you for watching. Take care.
Thank you.
God bless.
Bless you guys.